Hello dear Leo, welcome to your March reading. For 2025, I've already started with the March readings. Your reading will be on the 16th. February is out. And we'll jump right into the things that are coming up in March. It all kicks off right at the beginning of March. We have Monday the 3rd, March or Wednesday the 5th. In March, we have 2 portal days. We have a total of 4 portal days. Exactly. The 3rd and 5th of March, and then we have one on Monday, the 24th, and Tuesday, the 25th. March, 2 consecutive. I'm really curious about that, especially since it's around the time of the birthday. I'm excited to see what it brings us on a Friday, the 14th. March, we have the full moon in Virgo at 7:55 in the morning. By the way, that's also the day of the lunar eclipse. And on Saturday, the 29th March, we want the new moon in Aries at 11:58. So at noon, and there's also a solar eclipse. Exactly, that's it for now. Then, of course, spring begins. So the spring equinox we have on Thursday, the 20th March, and spring begins on Thursday, the 20th March at 10:01. Yes. I'm really curious. I'm really excited. Today the sun is shining. I'm curious about what the next period has in store for us. The next period, or let's say not how, but what we can expect in the next period. There will also be... Exactly, I want to mention that here as well. At this point, there are still the... Astrological forecast for the month of March will also be released. It will be released at the end of February. I always recommend everyone to check out the astrological forecast for March. I'll link it down here in this corner. Right now, there's still the astrological forecast for the month of February. And then as soon as I've done that, it will also be in the playlist for March. As I said, I can always recommend it to you. There will also be, at the end of the month, the new moon reading for February is coming, but that's just how it is. And I also wanted to make a video about Venus. Venus will be retrograde at the beginning of March, but more on that in the astrological forecast. In the astrological forecast, and then also in the Venus video. As I said, just a little recommendation from me. Let's get started. Keep in mind that the roles in a reading can be reversed. Time is always relative, time flows. And this is always about collective readings, general readings. It may also be that not everything will resonate with you. And this reading here, yes, and all the important information, all the important links, and also the cards I used can always be found down in the info box. And everything I'm currently offering can be found on my website. Let's see what wants to come your way in March. The Magician. The Magician. So in this deck, I find it very well represented because the Magician also represents the theme of transformation. We have a lot here. Well, what does a lot mean anyway? We have a few butterflies here. The theme of transformation could be very important for you. In March, the Magician, he can bring something new into being, something new. Realize, I have a feeling you're going to start something new. Also starting, if you thought it was impossible, in March it is possible. I'll show you, I've already seen what's under the deck, and we have the Two of Wands. It's now about making decisions for what you wish for or what you want to implement. It can also just be a wish, a dream at first. The hope too. That one wants that one. Yes. Basically, and imagines I actually want to implement that now. Actually, that's already the wrong thing to say again, because you should really always leave out the word actually. But it can actually be such a saying. I would really love to, or something like that. I would really like to. Yes, I should. It's about making a decision to do it, to find a way to realize it, to bring it into the world. This could be an idea, or maybe it's actually that you want to go out somewhere. But first, it's about making the decision. We have the King of Cups here, and that tells me that if you're passionate about something, well, I don't want to say burning, but if your heart beats for something, those are emotions. If your heart beats for it, and you feel, hey, I have a strong feeling that this feels right for me, then find a way to implement it. We have the Ace of Pentacles underneath, growth, success from the Pentacles, and the King of Cups. Do what feels right for you. Do what you love. Temperance. The balance needs to be established here. Now we have the Ace of Wands in this deck. So the Ace of Wands is underneath, and in this deck it's a tree trunk. A small one, which also tells me it's time to act. Something wants to grow here. I see again that something can really come out of this. Something can emerge. Here you need to find balance, or it could be that, I don't want to say the world, but I have this feeling that balance needs to be established. There are good days, there are bad days, there's sunshine like today, and then there are days with storms and rain. But that's just part of it. And there are such days, and you need to find a balance your inner center, so that you can find a way to deal with such situations, even if it doesn't work out as you imagine, or if it grows slowly. If you have to be patient, then don't give up right away, so that you are in harmony with yourself, that you also have trust in yourself that you can master this. Yes. The Eight of Wands, and then it can be that sometimes things move forward faster than you want. The High Priestess underneath. Listen to your intuition. We have the Eight of Wands in the background, and I definitely see this waterfall, and it's fast, and that's a quick energy. It might come faster than you think, wish, hope, or imagined. That's a quick movement. So something is moving pretty quickly here. I also just believe that you first need to realize it, that you first need to understand it. Or maybe it's just not tangible yet. That's something that can also just be an idea that you're manifesting right now, bringing it down to earth, so to speak. We see here with the Magician, who is depicted as being large, think big. And we have this forest here. This forest that you can create something from it. In this deck, the Magician is depicted as being large while the forest is small. That you can perhaps create something big out of something small. But I keep coming back to the theme of transformation. Let's find balance here. Changes are on the way. For some people. Let's take a look further. Yes, the Seven of Pentacles. And that's what I felt here also with Temperance. There will be days when things go well. There will be days again when things don't go so well. What's important is not to give up, to keep at it. It could actually be that there's an acceleration coming, but then it will slow down again. It's about holding on to it, letting it grow. Take your time, okay? Take good care of it. Whatever this is. Maybe this is a passion project of yours. Somehow my chair has been squeaking for a few days. I don't even know why. That bothers me a little. I actually don't want to get into that right now, even though the Seven of Swords, those could also be false thoughts from you. Although I have the feeling that someone might be lurking in the background, that's how I see it in this deck. Don't tell everyone about your plans or your ideas. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes it's better not to share everything right away, to hold some things back. If you can trust a person 100%, and that 100% doesn't really exist in this rule, that's really about knowing whether you can rely on that person no matter what, whether it's bad days or good days. She's always behind you. Then yes. But here is someone with the Seven of Swords. That's not a good card. Act strategically if there should be someone trying to get around things somehow. That sounds kind of silly though. but try not to tell everything. That's just a little tip, because the swords can also represent the spoken word. And I wouldn't just reveal all your ideas, your plans, and so on right away. I have to be honest, I did that once. This also applies to the family environment. Not just in the family environment, but also among friends. I did something and then I talked about what I did. It was solely about, I believe, the topic of sports and losing weight in the family. And then it was talked about my family. My cousin did that, and she lost so much weight. Yes, but there were a few things that made me think ideas were stolen, or what I said I did. It was basically erased and assigned to someone else. And that was a similar case among my friends. I found something and recommended it to a friend. And she continued. She found it and recommended it to me. That's just kindergarten. Those are irrelevant things. But it's about the principle. If you're really planning something big here, whatever that may be, I've become more cautious about it. I also stopped telling everyone everything. And just be careful. Don't reveal anything to everyone or to that one particular person where you know you should maybe be a little bit careful. Maybe you should also banish them from your life if you know that person isn't right. With my friend, I also cut her out of my life, just like my cousin, who's also no longer in my life. That's also part of life in a way. It was with back then, with that friend, that was a few years ago now, I mentioned it briefly here. We were best friends, we were good friends. Let's put it this way. But it was always like that. She always drained my energy. It was always more exhausting than it was energizing for me, more than I had fun with her. And like I said, towards the end, we had a fight. And I always had to repeat myself. It was always like that. I have a lot of understanding for many things. I'm also very understanding in situations like that when you have to keep repeating yourself and people keep making the same mistakes. Then it's over for me at some point. And with lies, it's over for me anyway, because I absolutely can't stand that. And that can actually be someone who lies. Like I said, be a little careful with that. And then finally, I also said back then to my former friend, that they won't have nothing to do with her anymore. And I just cut off contact with my cousin. At some point, it just happened that you also got older. And let's say our paths just separated. She was always like that. I would actually even say, without this now somehow, I don't mean to sound snobbish, but I've always felt like she wanted to be like me. She was always a bit jealous. And I've always said there is her and there is me, even in the family. That was always a topic. I'm not her and she is not me. Why do we always have to be put in the same box? And it was always like that. I'm glad it's over. And as I said, this could actually be someone who is jealous. As I said, be a little careful. There can just be jealousy here. Let's take a look further. A short little story from my family circle. We received 2 cards. We once received the Fate's advice and the 5 of Wands. You have your fate in your own hands here. That means you can now decide whether to initiate a change. It initiates whether you seize an opportunity here. These energies, these opportunities that are present, then this is a fateful change that is coming for you. Only each person has their own fate in their hands. The 5 of Wands actually isn't such a good energy. It's okay. With the 5 of Wands, it's always about disputes and conflicts. But here I have the feeling that you are seizing that one wand. That you might also have people around you who want something good for you, who show you, hey, look, maybe you should check this out, or that. Or, well, and I just lay the card over like this. And alone and alone lies a life. Your decisions are in your hands. And such energies, are fateful energies. Fate of change, fate had opportunities. That can only happen if you make decisions accordingly. You have your fate in your own hands. Don't forget that. And yes, take a look. The 10 of Pentacles also shows up. They're not that far away. You can't really hear it that far away. That could also be another topic. Withdrawal. You might be pulling back a bit, thinking in peaceful reorganization. Yes, reorganization and stuff. I have that feeling too. Meditation. I would also like to warmly invite you to my 2 other channels. I make meditation music, or rather, it's home. Music is in frequencies. I have 2 channels. They're on my channel, also linked here on Jessica Intuition a bit further down. Feel free to take a look at it. And as I said, I can definitely recommend the topic of meditation to you here. You'll definitely find answers there. Okay, my dear ones, let's see how things will progress for you. I will now lay out another row of cards for you in the continuation. Then let's see what will come your way. We're drawing a power card here for you. Which power will accompany you in March? I have a soul message here referring to angelic messages. These can be advice for you or even answers. And lastly, we'll draw some love messages here for you. You can always find links down in the info box and also in the top comment. I'm looking forward to welcoming you there shortly. And to everyone else, I wish you a wonderful March already. All the best and see you at the next reading. Bye bye.